Anthropic just released a model it says is powerful enough to need two names. This is fluid coding and AI, and today we are unpacking Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. Same underlying model, different doors, and very different consequences for developers who expect one clean leaderboard. The practical question is simple. Are public users getting Anthropic's strongest new Claude model, or are they getting a safer product that only sometimes behaves like it? By the end, you should know what Fable 5 actually gives you, what Mythos 5 withholds, and where the benchmark headlines need an asterisk. Anthropic says Fable 5 and Mythos 5 are two configurations of a new large language model. The important part is that Fable 5 has the same underlying model weights as Mythos 5. But Fable adds safeguards around high-risk areas like cybersecurity, biology, chemistry, and model distillation. So, same model does not automatically mean same user experience. Fable 5 is the broadly available Mythos class model. Anthropic lists it across the Claude API, Claude platform on AWS, Amazon Bedrock, Vertex AI, and Microsoft Foundry. Mythos 5 is different. It is limited availability for approved Project Glasswing customers and selected research partners, which makes access policy part of the product. Project Glasswing matters because it explains the split. Anthropic started Glasswing to give a limited set of cyber defenders and critical software infrastructure providers access to Mythos class capability. The logic is obvious and uncomfortable. The same model that can help find and fix serious vulnerabilities may also help build better attacks. On provider-reported benchmarks, the numbers are strong. Anthropic reports Fable 5 at 80 on SWE Bench Pro and 95 on SWE Bench Verified. It reports Fable 5 at 29.3 on Frontier Code Diamond, where it says Fable ranked first. It also reports a 1932 ELO on GDPval AA, a professional work benchmark. The caveat is that Fable 5 is not always Mythos 5 in practice. Anthropic says many table entries use the higher score when Fable and Mythos differ by only a few points. But sensitive domain tests can diverge because Fable's classifiers block, refuse, or route away from the strongest path. Terminal Bench is the clearest published example. Anthropic reports Mythos 5 at 88.8, while Fable 5 scored 84.3. But the real detail is that 20.9% of Fable trials triggered a safety refusal and then used Opus 4.8 for the rest of the trajectory. That is not a normal model comparison. In Claude apps, Anthropic says flagged requests can automatically fall back to the latest Claude Opus model at launch, Opus 4.8, and users are notified. In the Messages API, a refusal can still be a successful HTTP 200 response with stop reason set to refusal. Developers need to handle that as a product state, not just an error. The pricing is also not subtle. Anthropic lists both Fable 5 and Mythos 5 at $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens. Refusals before output generation are not billed, and fallback retries may receive prompt cash credit. Still, this is a premium model, and cost per solved task will depend on the workload. For enterprise teams, the biggest policy detail may be data retention. Anthropic docs designate Fable 5 and Mythos 5 as covered models with 30-day retention and say they are not available under zero data retention. If your governance model depends on zero retention, this release is not just a model upgrade, it is a procurement question. There is another trust issue. The system card says Anthropic added separate interventions for requests targeting frontier AI development, like pre-training pipelines, distributed training infrastructure, or accelerator design. Unlike the cyber and bio safeguards, these are not visible to the user and do not fall back to another model. Anthropic estimates the impact is tiny, but the opacity is the point. The strongest case for Fable 5 is hard, long-horizon work, large codebases, agents that need to investigate before acting, document-heavy analysis, diagrams, PDFs, screenshots, and technical images. Anthropic's positioning and early reports both point toward complex coding and professional workflows, not cheap routine chat. Treat it like a specialist model. My practical read is this: Test Fable 5 on work where failed attempts are expensive. Hard migrations, multi-step debugging, technical research, code-based navigation, and document-heavy agent tasks are good candidates. For ordinary completions, low-risk summarization, or cost-sensitive batch jobs, cheaper Claude models may still be the better default. So the headline is not just that Claude got stronger. The headline is that Anthropic is trying to ship Mythos class capability through policy, classifiers, fallback routing, and access gates. Fable 5 may be a serious upgrade for many builders, but it is not simply public Mythos. It is Mythos with conditions. If this helped you separate the model from the product policy, like the video and subscribe to Fluid Coding and AI. The next wave of AI tools will not just be about capability. It will be about who gets access, what gets filtered, and how developers design around it.